perfect way. You no longer exist, you're no longer in my
Welcome to AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I'm your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me I have my tag team partner, the Glam's Anjulie. What's going on, Anjulie?
Hello. I feel like it's only been a week since we've been together.
I know. It's a weird day, though, because we're on a Thursday, which is not what we normally do this, but, you know, an eventful weekend and stuff like that. So, welcome, Will. And so now we are here on Thursday, and it would have been kind of weird if we had, like, back-to-back weeks of AfterMat. Maybe AfterMat and AfterTalk, yes, but AfterMat. And you kind of think, like, how many matches could they possibly have thought of, like, in a few days, right? Like, it'd be, like, kind of not possible, but it happened, and here we are. And it wasn't much of a, like, rewind of, like, we always say, like, Backlash is the WrestleMania rewind kind of thing when they did that. This wasn't really much of a SummerSlam rewind except for a few here and there spots. But what did you think of the pay-per-view?
I mean, all of these matches, with the exception, all these matches have happened in some form or fashion within the last month, for sure. But they were still, except for one, because they just came together as a team. But for the most part, a lot of these mixtures of people, one we had just seen on the SummerSlam pay-per-view, but just another way to, like, ratchet up the feuds, so to speak. And you know, they had some, you know, stipulations that they hadn't had before, so that was something.
Yeah, a lot of the matches seemed kind of gimmicky, but it was alright. It was a decent night, I thought. It wasn't much that they could have done to, like, be like, oh, well, let's throw all these fresh matches out there, which they really couldn't do in that short amount of time because they couldn't really make storylines, right? So, but I guess you guys start with the kickoff match. And usually Delisha covers kickoff matches, but this time around we had one of my favorite groups, the Iconics, go against the Riot Squad. And this might have been for the number one contendership for the tag team titles, possibly, or just putting a strong foot forward in that contention. And the match pretty much started out with Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott kind of arguing because they're not still on good terms yet because of what happened with the Riot Squad breakup and all that. And Peyton and Royce and Billy Kay kind of pretty much separated the ring old school wrestling style, isolating mostly Ruby Riott in the beginning, and basically dominating Ruby Riott. And then at one point they threw Ruby Riott. Oh no, I think it might have been Billy Kay or Peyton Royce ran into Liv Morgan while her back was turned, and they pointed at Ruby Riott like Ruby Riott did it, like. And so it kind of started more dissension, and Liv Morgan got off the apron, started walking away, so that gave more advantage to the Iconics until Liv Morgan got back on the apron, took the tag, and then they pretty much dominated for the rest of the way, and they hit a, I think the Iconics tried to go for their finisher, but they couldn't hit it, and then the Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan hit the double knees, and you know how I love knees. I think it was a knee and a kick possibly, whatever it was, a double lower body strike, using their lower body to strike, and they pulled off the win, 1, 2, 3 for the win. Felicia, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it was kind of because I'm trying to not get it confused with the match that we saw on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was very, like, because they happened within 24 hours of each other. I was like, wait, oh yeah, that happened.
So that was one for the. I think that was the one for the number one contendership, right? I think that's what it was.
No, it was. Well, yes, and then I believe it's loser, you know, has to break up. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the fine. This was more of a story for for Ruby and Liv Morgan to further either cement or show descent of that tag team. So kickoff show, like good. I feel like this is what like a kickoff show. A kickoff show match should be about. It should be about more like let's try to either create or further a storyline to help us flesh something out, and then we'll back in that on whatever accompanying show they belong, or whether it be Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. So I feel like here it did its job. It was still an entertaining match, and we got some storyline beats to look forward to for the next time we saw them on their show.
Yeah, it was a fun match. I mean, I do like the women's tag team division. Unfortunately, we're losing people like Kairi Sane, we lost and stuff like that, and we don't know what's going to happen with the Iconics. But there is an interesting tag team dynamic going on with the women. I think I'm more invested in the women's tag team division than I am in the men's currently, because I can't even tell you who the men's tag team champions are. I think one of them is like, I think I saw it on SmackDown when I was fast forwarding through it. It was like, because Sami Zayn came back, so I saw that happen, and it was like Cesaro and Shinsuke. And the other ones are Street Profits, I'm pretty sure, which is pretty cool too, but it's just, I feel like they don't know what to go against, really. I mean, they do have the Andrade and Garza thing going on, and possibly maybe Dominic and Ray, but I think Ray got hurt, so I don't know. I just feel like the women's have more to invest in, especially with like the underground going on now and seeing people come up possibly with new call-ups and such like that. The next match featured the United States champion Apollo Crews defending against Bobby Lashley. I don't know if there was any gimmick to this match.
No, it was just a straight up wrestling match for this one. Again, we still have Crews and Lashley in some sort of mix. They've been going back and forth for the last, like I think we said last week, for about the past month or so. But this time, yeah, because I think on SummerSlam they were the kickoff show, right? It was like Crews and MVP.
MVP, yes.
So now for an actual title, even though actually that one might have been a title difference too, but because Bobby Lashley is the bigger, I guess, star of that group, it goes on the main show to start us off, and start off with how a lot of the matches, including the Hurt Business, start off with Lashley getting the upper hand for most of the match until they move it all to the outside, to where you see Crews diving off the ring post, and holding him to a 5-minute carry, and then he tried, trying to get a comeback to get momentum back in his side, but his attempt for finishing would be cut off by a Dominator from Lashley, but he would also fail to hit his toss-up power bomb, but he did after that was able to counter again into a moonsault, sorry, for a 2 count of his own, and then showing Crews showing his strength with some power slams and German suplexes, and then going for the top rope for a frog splash. But this will incite MVP to get involved by being vocal on the sidelines to cause slight distractions so that Lashley could slip in for the full Nelson, I think, or they call it the full Ashley. I don't know why, but we call it the full Ashley now. For submission to win the title. And then we saw something we don't see a lot happening on the face side, to where while the Hurt Business is posing for pictures and celebrating their win, Crews attacks them. So we don't really get that where it comes to the face side, but Crews attacks them and then runs off before they could go for the full 3-on-1, saying he's going to get his title back. So I thought that was a pretty interesting, give Apollo some edge to him, while he can still be the smiling babyface, but this title means so much more to me than just holding it. So it was pretty interesting, good roundabout match. This is what I thought we could have gotten on SummerSlam, even though if it was between him and MVP, we could have still gotten this quality of a match on the main card. But I'm glad they put it here, and it was a good opener to Payback.
Yeah, for me, I'm not really invested in the storyline. So I didn't enjoy the match. I think the ending was the best part where he said Apollo Crews attacked him, showed some grit to his character. I don't mind seeing him join the Hurt Business. I love my stables, and I think that stable needs a little bit more charisma, because you have MVP, right? But I think Bobby Lashley and Shelton has charisma as well, but he's not really over on the mic, right? It's mostly MVP. So I'd like to see maybe the Street Profits or somebody else join the Hurt Business to have it go like that. Or maybe even Sheamus or someone join it. That would be cool to add some more charisma to it. Maybe I could see Apollo Crews joining as kind of like a mole figure, like he's going in and kind of starting dissension amongst the ranks. Maybe he's like, if I can't beat them, let me join them, and he'll join them and then maybe start dissension among the ranks between Benjamin, Lashley, and MVP, and eventually win the title himself and sneak out kind of thing. That would be cool to see as well. The next match featured Big E Langston against Sheamus, and this was just I don't really know why it happened. It just happened, but it's a way to push Big E. Like I said, it's awesome to see that he's getting a shot at singles life again. Now that both Kofi and Xavier was injured, so
I think this was not the grudge match in the wrestling sense where it's like we both won and now no, it's a rubber match. Anyway, it was more of this literally kind of like a payback for Sheamus kicking him in the face on one of the SmackDown stuff. So in the literal sense of the pay-per-view, it was Big E trying to get payback.
The namesake of pay-per-view.
And a match.
Yeah. So this match started out with hold on a second. I just realized something. Give me a second. If I can find how to fix this. Maybe I can fix it later. I don't know how to fix this. Because is it coming up backwards on your screen? Payback?
Mm-mm. Oh, wait, is what coming up backwards?
Yeah, I think on the stream it's showing it backwards.
Oh, the word payback?
Yeah. So I'm like mirrored, and I don't know how to turn that off. Oh, anyway, I'll try to figure it out when you're doing your talking. Oh yeah, so it started out with Big E dominating a little bit, then he went for a splash on the outside and Sheamus countered it, and then Sheamus pretty much dominated for the rest of the match using his heel hooks and stuff like that, and leg holds to weaken Big E's leg. Then he went for a bro kick. He did most of his things, like the Irish Curse, I think, as well as the hand grenades, or whatever they're called. I forgot what they're called. And eventually, what do you call it? Sheamus hit the bro kick. Big E kicked out, showing some perseverance. Sheamus went for another bro kick, but Big E turned into a powerbomb, then into a what's it called, a big ending or something, or big finish, something like that. I forgot what his finisher was called. I think it's big ending, right? Yeah, big ending, and then he got the 1, 2, 3, and he won. I don't know why his character got oh, I'm the best ever, I won, kind of thing. That was kind of stupid for me. He was way too happy that he won. But I mean, like I said, I'm happy about him because I want him to succeed. But I didn't really like his character being oh, I'm the best, I won, and kind of going all goofy and stuff. That was kind of annoying for me. But what'd you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. I think because they face each other in some capacity so many times, they really have really good chemistry in the ring. And Sheamus is just so great as the antagonistic heel that with Big E's lack of a better term, big personality and funness and joyfulness, the dynamic between the two really works. And just the power moves between the two of them that they can do really made it pretty exciting. I'm really glad that, again, because of circumstance, he is getting the singles push. I do hope they take this push actually seriously and put him in some sort of title contention somewhere down the line. I also am glad that I really wish the announcers would. I don't know why they won't, but they keep acting like Big E never had a singles career in his life when this man was a champion before, and not just tag team champion, 7 times. He was a intercontinental champion, if not, I know once, but maybe twice, and for a good chunk of time. It wasn't 2 weeks and then he lost it. And he was really a big part of Dolph Ziggler winning his title. So, as they say, I really wish they would put some more respect on his name, and stop treating him as if this is the first time he's gone single in the ring. But beyond that, I really hope that they take it seriously and it's not just oh, we'll just put you in singles until your teammates come back.
Welcome, Arrington. Yeah, I agree. I think he definitely deserves a lot more than he's getting, so I hope he does get what he gets. But we'll see when it comes to. Oh wait, I think I might have found it. Or not, or not. I think it's my background. That's. But yeah, I do. I think like it. Like I said, the only thing I don't like is how he was, you know, shown like as. Like, you know, overexcited. I mean, be excited, but when you win a championship, maybe not like when you win a match, your first ever single. Not first. I don't want to say first ever singles match, but you know what I mean. When you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
All right. Nope. I can't figure it out. Hopefully, eventually, it will get fixed. I don't know. Maybe it's on Discord's end. Maybe I don't know. All right. The next match features Matt Riddle against Baron Corbin.
Yeah, the bro versus the king. I actually don't even. Oh, for a second I couldn't remember how this came to be, but then I remembered Corbin was fed up or felt some type of way about Matt Riddle's getting all the hype, and I think he put like a hit out on Riddle to take him out. Anywho, this match started out with Corbin hitting him with a clothesline before the match began. And it was pretty much Corbin for a good amount of time, with him stomping him in the corner, and then took him out to the ring to continue his onslaught. And then, but Riddle would reverse it into a chokehold, but then would be dumped out on his back, trying to go for the pin, but not quite getting the shoulders down. And then, and then Riddle would sit back up and try to like get the lock right back on, but before they get tossed out onto the mat. And to where Corbin would continue the assault on Riddle, excuse me, and was taunting him in the ring. I think he was chanting "failure at home," which is apparently something he was tweeting out earlier. So I guess he was just pushing that back up. But all that was doing was like firing Riddle up, getting him like mad and stuff. And to which Riddle would then knock Corbin out of the ring with some sort of like head kick, and then going with the MMA style Fury strikes, and then Corbin was able to get a punch in to Sultan Downs for a little bit, and he hit the deep six for a 2 count, but then Corbin fell into Riddle and then got a few like elbow strikes backing in, and then got him with the body kick, and I think they called the floating bro for his finishing move to get the pin, and would leave Matt to win this bout. And thought it was over. You thought this feud was over until he gets attacked from behind later on after the match when he's being interviewed, or was he being interviewed?
Yeah, he's walking the back and he got hit.
Yeah. So there were so many attacks this week while someone was being interviewed. It's all fluttering together, but it was solid. Again, like I said, you thought it was finished, but it's not. So I don't know what we're gonna go up from here, because they don't really fit into the next pay-per-view yet. So I don't know. We'll see. It's fine. We're going back into the I'm not interested in Corbin era for me. And Matt Riddle, Matt's fine. He's literally just the broest dude. So that's whatever. I mean, I'm just a middle of the road Riddle fan to begin with. But all in all, the match was solid. Nothing like too complaining about, but nothing too like, oh man, that was great.
Yeah, the match was good. I enjoyed the match, but the two wrestlers I'm not really a fan. Actually, I like Baron Corbin a lot more than I used to. I'm not really a real fan at all. But Baron Corbin, I like his moves and his how he's a good heel. He makes you really, really hate him, and so he should stay as a heel for a while. I don't think I should ever see him as a face, but we'll see what happens. WWE is weird, but yeah, Riddle I'm not too fond of. I don't like his character really, but he is great in the ring. I have to give him that. So working in the ring, they're good, but storyline and all that, like I think Big Time said they didn't have chemistry together. I don't know if he was talking about this match or the previous match, but yeah, it was not that fun otherwise. the following match was for the women's. No, like, yeah, it was for the women's tag team championship featuring the women's tag team champions Sasha Banks and Bayley against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax.
Yeah, I wore the wrong shirt. I should have worn my Nia Jax shirt, but I wasn't thinking. Again, because it's Thursday. If it was Monday, I would have remembered. But this is the classic throwing two not enemies. They're not really like that. Well, yeah, they did. She did attack her during Underground. So two enemies being thrown together as their like reluctant tag team, which I got like done well. It's a pretty cool storyline to put. But it was kind of interesting because we kind of have two heels, or I guess Shayna is just the cool person who knows who's coming in the rec shop versus two other heels. So it was pretty interesting. But I guess you can put Nia and Shayna in the towing the line role, towing the line sphere, while Bayley and Sasha are taking form as the true heels. But we start off with Baszler tagging herself into the match after it looked like Nia was going to start, and then immediately going after Banks with her strikes and trapping her to the corner with some kicks and some strikes of her hands. And and then Banks is tied up with and then we get the tag in of Bayley and Jax. Nia was like, put me in. So then we get Banks and Nia out on the outside while Bayley gets tagged in to Shayna, not Jax. Leading to Jax getting knocked out onto the floor, so where she could not get tagged in further along the ring, which is smart tag team work, as we all know. You isolate one member, take out the other. So that leaves Shayna to face Banks and Bayley by herself. They leave her in their corner, quick tag ins and out as they completely try to take Shayna out to win the match probably as quickly as they can, knowing how dangerous their two competitors could be. But Jax would get herself back into the ring, but Bayley would go and try to do a chop block behind referee's back, and then hitting an elbow drop on the back, and then followed by Sasha doing a frog splash, getting into a two count, where I think that might have been the one where she like viciously like throws Sasha off. Well, Sasha's so little, that's not taking much effort, but then Baszler will go in and put her in what's called the Muta block, and then putting Bayley in the Kirifuda clutch. I always get these names.
Kirifuda.
Yeah. So that was like it's actually now that I think about it, this match was quicker than I realized. But she has them both simultaneously in a submission hold, and they try to get out of it, but she uses Sasha's arm to pull her back through, to not put her shoulders down, and to wrap it around Bayley's neck to hold on to the submission hold, causing Bayley to tap out, and I guess costing them the title, so to speak. So now we have Nia and Shayna as our new tag team title holders, and at first, before the match started, I kind of wanted Bayley and Sasha to keep them on so that we could continue to get their tirades through Raw and SmackDown. But I do as the match went on, I liked the dynamic of Nia and Shayna being reluctant tag team partners and still trying to prove like one of them is better than the other. So I did like that dynamic, and the match, including that ending, was badass.
Yeah, the match was good. I like the ending with the double. What do you call it? The double. What's it called? Double submission moves. On that was pretty cool. But the overall the match was good. Once again, I have to say the ending was terrible. I mean, not the after match was terrible because Nia pulled a Big E, right? It must have been something in the water that they drank or something like that. Because while Shayna's trying to cut a promo. Nia and Back's like, oh my god, I'm so excited I won. Which in this sense it makes more sense because she won the tag team championship. But it was more like the Big E thing as well. So I wasn't really happy with that, especially for her being like a tough woman. That's kind of like a heelish character as well. maybe they're trying to change her character. I don't know. Maybe she's trying to take the spotlight from Shayna. Whatever it was kind of annoying. But other than
Yeah,
that,
I think that was the purpose, to be that obnoxious, annoyingly I want personality.
Other than that, this was a really good match. I enjoyed it. Probably made one of my favorites of the night because the ending was, like you said, was brilliant with a double submission. I thought that was awesome. The next match featured Keith Lee in his main roster pay-per-view debut. He was on a pay-per-view before, but it was as an NXT member. Now he's on the main roster. So going against Delicious Favorite. When he's good, he's good. When he's not, he's not. Randy Orton.
Yeah, I don't think I got to talk about this on stream, but I really hate that they changed Keith Lee's music. There are some legal and petty reasons behind that, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna try to get over it, but I hate it. I hate it so much, especially when it's in my workout queue. So like when I'm like on my walks and stuff like that, it comes on and I get sad. But we start out with early on, Keith Lee doing his I don't know if you call it attack or not, where he literally like shoulders you into the next galaxy. Pretty early on into the match, but Randy Orton would try to fight back with a series of chops and arm strikes, and they would continue that outside the ring to where Lee would drop Orton right onto the announce table, keeping up the attack. But he was able to get up from that and give him a DDT as they tried to get back in the ring to beat the 10 count. And then Orton would be trying to set up for the RKO when he was hit with a powerbomb, I think, out of nowhere to take it back from Randy and spin it on his own to score a pin. And like this match went by so fast that I swear I blinked and it was over. But really glad that it was Keith Lee getting the win over Orton, not because it was Orton, but because they've hyped up in the few weeks, or I guess only 2 weeks that he's been there, of him being such a powerhouse, and for this match to have been so fast that if he would have lost, it would have been like, well, that fizzled out really quickly. But I think Randy Orton put him over pretty solidly, and this really was just a match that got showcased once again Lee's ability to prop him up for probably an eventual longer feud coming down the line somewhere on the roster as we get towards other championship goals for other people. But all in all, it was all right. Like I said, I feel like this match's goal was just to highlight the strength of Keith Lee, to show him as a powerhouse, and then get in and get out.
I'm glad it was a short match, and I'm glad that Keith Lee got pushed and put over because I'm a fan of Keith Lee. I'm also a fan of Randy Orton, but Orton's time has passed pretty much. His last good thing with Edge was great. Doesn't need anything more, not really. Not besides putting the younger ones over, but I think he still has another 47 years on his contract, so we'll see him around for a while. But yeah, it was good. I'm glad he won quickly, and he looked strong throughout it, so that was good. One thing I do think of note is his next major long-term, speaking of Keith Lee, his next major feud, long-term, is probably, I think he's going to beat people left and right, like showing that he's like the real deal. But the next major feud, long-term, I think is going to be Roman Reigns for the World Championship. Because they teased it last year, was it Survivor Series, right? So now we have, so I wouldn't mind seeing them. I don't know how it could happen. Because the only way Roman Reigns, because they would do like champion versus champion, right? They wouldn't put Keith Lee in it unless he went back to NXT and got the championship, because he lost it. He never got a rematch for it. I don't know how they do it, but I think maybe at Royal Rumble we could see them going against each other, or maybe WrestleMania. I think that's when the next time we'll see Roman Reigns against Keith Lee. It's gonna be one of the big pay-per-views. But that's, I think, going to be his next major feud.
Or if you're thinking Rumble terms, he could win the Rumble and choose to go after the SmackDown title.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I think I already picked someone else to win the Royal Rumble, didn't I? And I had to hope story behind it as well.
Oh yeah, see, and then
Hey,
it's gonna happen, and we're gonna have to write that video
hey,
letter.
Valami, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well, Valami. Thank you for joining. Yeah, so I don't know who it's gonna be, but yeah, Keith Lee can win it and go face Roman Reigns. But I think I forgot who I said was gonna win because I think it was like a weird pick too. So, damn, I can't remember. No, I didn't pick anyone. I picked Dominic to throw Seth Rollins over the rope. So that was because I said that's the next time we'd see Dominic, but that didn't happen because he appeared 7 days later. So that was kind of stupid. All right. Anyway, the next match featured, speaking of, Dominic and Rey Mysterio against Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. This time in a tag team match. The match started out with Dominic in the ring as usual. I shouldn't say as usual. It's only the second time in the ring, but when it comes to these guys, maybe not the second time because they had the Monday Night Raw as well. But yeah, basically they dominate early. Usually Ray and what always happens in these kind of matches is Ray and Dominic dominate early, and then the heels come back. This is what we saw. We saw Ray and Dominic use their quickness and their lucha skills to win, to put them ahead early, and then the heel tactics come in for Murphy and Rollins to come back and take away the momentum until they're able to until Ray and Dominic are able to bring the momentum back up. This happened when all four men were in the ring, a lot of blows being exchanged. Then Ray took Murphy out to the outside and hit him with a tope suicida to knock him pretty much out of the match for the most part. Then he went for a crossbody on, I think, Seth Rollins. Yeah, it has to be Seth Rollins because Buddy Murphy was out of it. And Seth Rollins did an awesome counter where he did a double knee. And you know how I love my knees. He countered with a double knee to knock the air out of, what's it called? Rey Mysterio. He went for a super kick, but only got a 2 count. And then Rollins started talking a lot of trash to Ray, to his face, and about Dominic and all that stuff, and the wife as well. And then Murphy, I think that's when Murphy got back in the ring because what's his face? Seth Rollins tagged him, and then Buddy Murphy actually hit Rollins with a super kick instead of Ray. Then Ray tagged Dominic. Dominic hit the 619 on Buddy Murphy, and then went for the frog splash and got the victory. But on the outside, it was cool because Ray slid to the outside and did like a Hurricane Rana or Panama Sunrise, sliding on the outside to Seth Rollins. The ending was really cool. That's another awesome ending. So they're both. It's funny because they're both tag team. We never really talk about tag team matches, but both tag team matches had really, really, really good endings. So that was cool to see. With Ray doing the suicide dive under the rope into a Panama Sunrise, and Dominic doing the frog splash, which looked beautiful as well. And you knew that Murphy would eat the pin because Seth would do it. I think I still see a match between them, 1-on-1 legit match between them down the line, maybe in a cage. I don't know what it is going to be where no one else can interfere, but that's pretty much it. What'd you think, Alicia?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. This is actually the first time we really got to see Dominic do wrestling instead of just last time it was like a street fight, so to speak. So they didn't have to do any wrestling. It was another protection type of stipulation. But this time we got to see him do some wrestling moves to showcase that he can actually go and be a actual contender on the Raw roster, so that when his feud with Seth does end, we can be confident in his transition over to another storyline. And yeah, I really like I guess there's no surprise that him and his dad work well together. And then Seth and Buddy have been working with each other for months now. I don't know. I don't know if their time is coming to an end pretty soon. I don't know, or because it might be time to add another member. Because I know they had Austin Theory, but he's going through some troubles. So I don't know if it's time to maybe get another disciple, or because if we're still supposed to be this cult leader thing, he's not really gathering a following.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just Murphy. So I really think they might need to get back to that of him actually having a stable to work with rather than just the two of them. And because of that, that's maybe why he lost. Maybe he needs to get some more members to ensure his win.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like he should be bringing people who are constantly losing, so he could be like, "Look, I am the answer for all your troubles. I will get you out of this losing streak." if you join my cult or whatever, and then they can start building up and being a good
You know,
stable.
I mean, I'm probably giving them more fuel, but I feel like because I was watching like wrestling news earlier, and it looks like Retribution is now going to be exclusively on Raw. I think that's stupid, but whatever, not my show. But those could be kind of like Seth's followers. You know, Retribution, the Messiah. I feel like it works. You know, it was like, you have been led astray by, you know, creative or whatever. Follow me, and I can lead you to great. I don't know, but to give him that legit cult like persona, because now it's not just two people; it's a whole cadre of people, men and women. But I don't know. Like I don't know. You're giving him this cult like persona, but he's not getting that cult like following.
See, for Retribution, I'm hearing names like CM Punk, which that is going to be. But another name I could see it being, it'd be a good apropos name for Retribution, would be Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett coming back and being the leader of Retribution, kind of like he did with Nexus. He was a great leader for Nexus. I think Retribution could be his next calling and coming back and doing that, because
third time's a charm.
Yeah. Well, he's in talks for signing a full-length contract. So,
for wrestling or for as being, you know,
I don't know what, but he's in talks with WWE for signing a contract, so I'm not sure. Also, I heard that.
I mean, they butchered him as that person 3 times.
Yeah.
Twice, and then the 4. So,
I'm hoping it's.
Well, so far legit. We haven't seen a guy of stature in the all black, so we'll see.
Well, yeah, but if you
they need to pull the plug on that pretty soon, because it's already starting to get annoying.
Well, also I want to say though, it doesn't matter who they show, like, because I know we don't mention other companies, but AEW had like the Exalted one that they didn't show for like whatever. They showed other people and they showed people worshiping, and it ended up being Luke Harper or whatever his name is now. So like, and Luke Harper didn't come to AEW till like that week that they revealed him. So like, and they kept showing somebody as the Exalted one. So you never know. It could be like just like red herrings and stuff like that. But if not that, and I also want to know who the hacker guy was, the guy who did all the camera stuff on SmackDown that broke up Mandy and Sonya. I want to know. We're never gonna know that. We're never gonna know that. There's like that's actually a good episode of AfterTalk to talk about all the storylines that just got cut off, that never amounted to anything, because like the hacker one, the anonymous GM, even though that ended up being Hornswoggle, but I don't think that's what they planned on doing. The one who killed Mr. McMahon angle, which they had to cut because of Benoit's death or suicide, murder-suicide. Stuff like that, like maybe all these angles that went about the wayside. That would be a good thing to cover, maybe in the future of AfterTalk. Because I'd be interested to see all the left out angles, you know, about who it was. GTV also, I think GTV. Everyone thought it was Goldust TV, but I don't think it was. That's another thing, like the hacker thing. So all these kind of things, that would be cool to see. The final match of the evening featured the Universal Champion, The Fiend, against Braun Strowman in a no-holds-barred match. Why do I say Braun Strowman only? Because Roman Reigns was supposed to be in the match, but he had not signed the contract, so therefore we are not having him in the match. Or so we think, right? So the match starts out with The Fiend doing his awesome entrance. And actually my dad wanted to watch wrestling for the first time in a while, even though the last time we watched it was Jinder Mahal when he was champion and during the championship matches. He hasn't watched it since, but he was like, oh, let's go watch it because, you know, summer's ending, let's do something together kind of thing. And so he thought The Fiend was kind of cool. He's like, oh, this guy wearing a mask or whatever. And then he didn't get to see the full-on entrance, even though he pretty much saw it all, because it was interrupted towards the end by Braun Strowman attacking The Fiend in the dark. Then came the same repeat of what we saw of SummerSlam. It was just a boring match, just slamming and yelling, and let's go to the outside, break a table, let's go to the top of the Titantron, fall off, not Titantron, the ramp, fall off, break some more stuff, go back into the ring. I don't know why they call it no holds bar match. They should call it no DQ, because really the only holds that are barred are pile drivers and like Death Valley drivers, anything where you get thrown onto your head. So if this can be a no holds bar match, just only do pile drivers and only do Death Valley drivers. Can make the match count for its name. No, this is just called no DQ. Eye gouges, whatever you do that's normally not allowed, do that, but they don't. So that kind of upsets me. Anyway, as soon as they get back into the ring, I think Braun's trying to go to the top to do I don't know what he's going to do, maybe a senton or a 5-star, probably not, but, you know, moonsault, who knows. He started going to the ring, but he stumbled because, you know, he's big and not used to being on the top. Bray Wyatt starts climbing the rope. I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. This is going to Big Show, Lesnar, when they broke the ring, and I think later happened with like maybe Mark Henry and somebody else in Big Show. It happened with other people later, but I think it was too soon to happen again since like they did it after the first ever time, which was Big Show and Lesnar. Anyway, I see what's going on. Superplex off the top rope or middle rope, and the whole ring collapses, and the ref's like knocked out. Bray's knocked out, Braun's knocked out, and then what happens? We hear Roman's music. Roman comes to the ring with Paul Heyman, signs the contract. Now he's part of the match. Gets into the ring. He tries to pin, I think, Bray maybe. Bray kicks out. Oh, not Bray. Sorry, The Fiend. The Fiend kicks out. Tries to pin Braun. Braun kicks out. And then The Fiend gets hit with a Superman punch or a spear. No, gets hit with a spear. Tries to pin him again. Fiend kicks out again. So then Roman goes for a chair. Comes back into the ring with the chair. He's about to hit The Fiend with the chair. The Fiend puts him into a mandible claw. And Roman's really fading. Roman goes for a low blow on The Fiend. The Fiend gets hit. Gets rolled to the outside. And then, sorry, before all this happened, when the first pin happened, Roman called for a referee because the referee was still knocked out, so it took a while for the referee to come back. That's why those two guys had time to get back to their senses, I guess. And then Braun gets up. Braun gets hit with a spear. Then 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns is your new Universal Champion, which I don't understand because let me talk about this first. Not even about Roman Reigns winning. Let me talk about how Braun, I think, got hit by like 784 spears at was it WrestleMania by Goldberg, right? And that's like Goldberg's like setup move, I guess. Well, since it's Roman Reigns' finisher, it makes more sense. It's got more power behind it. I don't know. But yeah, he got hit by so many spears and kicked out of all of them. But yet he got hit by one spear now by Roman Reigns and it's done. You know, that's kind of stupid. I guess maybe it took out of him, like being hit by the Sister Abigail earlier. He got hit by a superplex. I don't know. But yeah, Roman Reigns did one spear and pinned Braun Strowman. Roman Reigns, the new champion. I don't know what to think about this because, like I said, I love The Fiend. I love The Fiend. I want him to be the champion. He's got that Sasha Banks syndrome, man. He can't defend his championship for some reason, especially against big dudes, right? Big names. I guess if you have the spear, you're gonna beat the Fiend. That's what it is, right? He lost to Goldberg, and now he lost to Roman Reigns. So next, I guess he's losing to Edge. Edge is the next person that's gonna beat him, and then maybe Charlotte Flair will beat him because Charlotte never loses. So whoever does the spear, go ahead and fight the Fiend because you'll probably win the championship from them. Even though the Fiend technically didn't lose, so he'll probably get another shot at it because Braun got pinned. But Roman's a champion. I don't know how to feel about that because I'm still worried about his health. I feel like him as Joe Inoue is a great guy. He's got health problems. I don't know. AJ Styles just got. Will told me AJ Styles just got diagnosed with COVID today. So this is scary, man. Like someone with his health concerns, I wouldn't want to be back yet. So I think the Fiend could have held it for a while. Roman heel's cool with Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece is awesome. But I don't think the Fiend should have lost yet, especially to Roman because I'm concerned more about Roman's. I don't mind Roman being a heel champion. I don't want him to be there because of his health. Alicia, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just like you. I'm still trying to gather how I feel about the Fiend not having the title. It's not really Roman having the title. It's the Fiend not having it. Because I don't know. I feel like he could have came back. You know, like maybe after Payback or as the conclusion to Payback. And going after Braun. But I don't know. I think I might have to see more like what happens on like SmackDown this week and next week. Because we have Night of Champions coming up, so he's going to be defending there, or he might be going against whatchamacallit,
The Fiend.
Who's the champion on Raw?
No, they won't do champions versus champions.
Oh, you're right. Oh, right.
That's Survivor Series.
I always
even though that makes no sense because it's called Clash of Champions. So like, wouldn't that be champion versus champion instead of Survivor Series, which is like maybe they'll change it this year. Who knows?
But so I don't know. We always. It's like they never can go full tilt with the Fiend. Like, He's still cool. Don't get me wrong. Like no matter what, so far he's still keeping that air of mystery and still coolness factor to him. But like you said, they won't let him defend the belt. So why put it on him in the first place? If that's not your MO for his character, he can still be, or let him hold the IC belt or whatever. But actually, him going after Jeff Hardy would kind of be kind of cool. But you know, if maybe that is the plan afterwards, is to go after a lesser, not I feel bad calling it the lesser title, but going after title, yeah. But I don't know. And what the heck are they doing with Alexa Bliss? What was that?
I have no idea.
I don't know. So I'm just confused. So I'm hoping if this weekend, like maybe next week or whatever, we can get some explanation on what's going on, and maybe that will help shape how I feel about everything.
Okay, so I don't think Braun Strowman should have lost at SummerSlam if they were going to plan on doing this. I would have rather had him. Was it a Falls Count Anywhere match? So I would have rather I would have rather had him cheat to win, or like maybe at least walked away. I don't know. They shouldn't have made it a Falls Count Anywhere. Should have made like a straight up match or something like that. And because there are already too many gimmicks at SummerSlam, I believe. So they should have just had it where he cheats and wins, like by DQ or count out, right? So the Fiend doesn't lose cleanly, and then had a rematch here with Roman, and then Roman Reigns comes and attacks him at the end of SummerSlam. Keep everything the same, but we should have kept Braun as a champion. That way, Braun would have lost it within a week later, not the Fiend, because that makes him look bad. That's what I think should have happened. As for Alexa Bliss, I think her eye makeup should have been like Liv Morgan's eye makeup. I don't know if you saw it, but Liv Morgan's eye makeup was amazing. At the beginning of the pay-per-view, she had like reddish pink here, made her look like she's like crying blood a little bit. Not even really crying blood, but check it out if you haven't seen it. It was really amazing. That's how Sister Abigail should look. I think she should have like black mascara and all that, is it called eyeshadow and stuff. But then the red stuff coming down, so she kind of looks demony with pitch black hair maybe, or pitch white hair. That'd look cool. That's what I think Alexa should transform into, and just take a note from Liv Morgan's eye makeup in the beginning, her under eye makeup, whatever that's called. So that's what I thought. Braun should have kept the title by cheating at SummerSlam, and then Braun should have got pinned by Roman Reigns just like he did here. Fiend would have had nothing to do with it. That's making him still look strong. I guess he didn't really lose the title. He did lose the title, obviously, but he didn't really lose it because he didn't get pinned.
Right.
But I don't think he should ever have gained just for having a 1 week. Come on, like what are we, Sasha Banks? Maybe it's Sasha Banks that showed up, not the Fiend that time. But yeah, that brings us to our finish. It's a pretty short pay-per-view in my opinion. We covered it pretty fast as well, but it was all right. Delisha, we're going to go with your low point, your high point, and your overall grade.
This one's pretty tough because I feel like a lot of the matches were pretty like solid. But maybe I will give it to lack of chemistry between Corbin and Matt Riddle. I feel like they've had enough time to develop that because they've been in talks with each other for a couple of weeks now. So I feel like I'm going to give my low point to just that, like, needing that extra oomph to really feeling engaged in that match. The high point, I'm going to give it to my women's tag team because they don't get showcased a lot, and this one they really nailed it with the in-ring action and how it all played out. So I'm pretty happy with that. And overall, I think I'm going to give this pay-per-view a B- or B+, actually B+. Like I said, every match was pretty solid. There was something I could keep engaged in for the most part. There were some ups and downs here between certain matches that just didn't really do it for me. But overall, it was short, sweet, and it didn't feel lengthy. I don't like it when a pay-per-view, like, you can feel the time of it. So kudos to them on that, because this could have been, like you said, even though a lot of it was rehashing of some storylines, but some of them was to clean some up and to transition over to other things. So overall, it's pretty good.
Yeah, for me, I'm probably gonna have to say my low point was the main event again. Well, not that again. Because I said last time it was like between the main event, Braun and the Fiend, and Sonya and Mandy, but I gave to Sonya and Mandy because the ending was worse in that one compared to the ending, because I like the Fiend one. Had I known now what was going to happen, I probably would have given it to the main event. But this time I had to say the main event because it wasn't exciting because of the thing breaking, but I knew that was going to happen because as soon as something coming up, I knew that. I like how Roman came at the end and stole it, but I don't, I already gave my thoughts about how I feel about Roman winning the championship right now. High point was, once again, the women. Last time I gave to Sasha and Asuka. This time I went to Sasha and Bayley against Nia and Welcome Munster and Shayna. Great match. Very good ending. The double submission. That was awesome to see. And then overall great. I'm actually going to give it a C-. I didn't really enjoy it besides that one match, pretty much, I think. The Ray Dominic match was great to watch. But other than that, I think it was pretty sloppy and wasn't really fun to watch, especially with the results and kind of the feuds and stuff. It just wasn't as engrossing. And I can't really... It's not fair because it was only a week, right? 6 days since the last pay-per-view, pretty much. So I can't really say... I think that's what really affects the grade because we didn't have any build-up. Not that I watched the stories, but at least the packages that come out, we get more build-up and stuff. I don't think I enjoyed it as much. All right, so that was kind of weird to go basically 2 weeks in a row with pay-per-views. I hope they don't ever do it again. I don't know why they did it. But with that said, Delisha, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Delisha Renee. And you can also find me now on YouTube doing healthy recipes and vlogs throughout the weeks. And it's in the description below. So give that a click. Give that a like if you shall please. And let me know what you think.
Yeah, and as for AfterMat, the next time you'll see us is at Clash of Champions, which is on September 27th, so AfterMat will be the day following on September 28th. So we actually have about 4 weeks till our next show. So that's not that bad. We'll get some time to build up some stories and stuff because the next big one is coming up in a little while with Survivor Series, but we'll see where the stories go. As for me, I'll be coming back to streaming video games tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern with some Avengers. I've got to figure out how to get this whole streaming thing working now with the new YouTube. So we'll figure that out after the stream. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So we have the AfterMat, we have the streaming, and then always on Twitch you can find me, and on Twitter at KingslayerNet. So until then, guys, make sure you be kind to each other, and be the champion of your dreams, and keep slamming the haters. See you next time, guys.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't